Well, hello, my soul friends. It is Victoria. As promised, I'm here to talk about the full moon in Taurus, which is a partial lunar eclipse coming up on the 28th of October. So, before we dive into that, I want to welcome you to the Soul Nurturer channel. I encourage you just to take this time to sit with me. And if I'm doing my job, I'll offer you something that resonates with you, that supports you on your transformational journey. So I want to invite you to just pause and go get a candle and light your candle with me, or get a cup of tea. Take a little time for yourself. My goal is to offer this space as a time for all who need a pause, a reset, some words to support you on your journey of unfolding, to recognize that we are all in a transformational journey individually and collectively. There's a lot going on. So, from my soul and heart to yours, may this be a place of respite, a place of a sanctuary for the soul. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to light my candle. It's what I normally do in my sessions. I either light it with my client or just before they join me to prepare the sacred space. And I do believe where two or more are gathered, it's sacred space, especially if you're holding an intention, especially those of you on a spiritual journey that recognize there's something magnificent going on, even though in our human experience it can feel scary and fear-provoking. So it's just here, gather with me. Just gather with me. Take a moment here. So before we talk about the astrology going on, what I like to do is just ask you how you're doing, because you are the expert of you. Me or anyone like me talking about possibilities in the world, that may not be true for you. You are the keeper of your soul wisdom. You are the one that knows your truth. My work is about empowering that, okay? So welcome to the Soul Nurturer channel. If this is your first time, consider subscribing. I'm honored, humbled, and blessed that I'm pretty close to 1,000 viewers. So thank you, all my viewers, those of you who are consistently with me, commenting, emailing me, staying with me in this unfolding journey. Thank you, bless you, I love you. And if you consider subscribing, you may be helping me expand my outreach through the YouTube algorithms, or the mystery of YouTube, however it works. I don't know. Sometimes I'll get these random emails like, I saw you for the first time and they're from another country, and I don't know how it got to them, but I'm grateful it did. So the other thing is commenting, and not just for the YouTube algorithm, although it does help my outreach, and I love that. You know, I'm one person with a mission of nurturing souls and potential of others. And the more people I reach, the more I'm able to serve my mission. So consider that. But I love to know where you're viewing from. So if you're a little shy and you don't want to share too much, I understand that. Just at least tell me where you're viewing from. My hope, though, is you feel comfortable enough to say, hey, that resonates with me, what you just said, or share your experience. So as you witness yourself, and then you hear what's going on in the world in terms of the astrological weather, it's a time to pause and learn and recognize the patterns, the lessons on repeat for you. For me, astrology is soul work. It's a way to engage in our own unfolding and evolving, trusting the process, trusting Creator with all that is unfolding. So just pause and maybe put your hand over your heart and just tune in for a moment and ask yourself, how am I doing? How are you doing in this moment? What are you noticing? What's going on in your life? What patterns and lessons? Yes, lessons are how we grow and evolve. And yes, I know we're so tired of all the growth opportunities, but the truth is we are in transformational times. And what does transformational times do? They shift us out of old ways of being to emerge new possibilities. Okay. So what patterns lessons are up for you right now. And since this is the Soul Nurture channel, and I'm all about inviting you to reclaim the soul potential you came in with, to nurture that to your highest possibilities, let me ask you this. How have you been nurturing yourself and your soul and your possibilities? And I should say, please be gentle as you're doing this assessment. Let's face it, we could all be doing better, right? But there's a lot going on, so we do the best we can. So acknowledge that, okay? Here's a sip of water real quick. It's the end of my day, and I have just this little bit of time to do this video, so I'm catching up with myself as I'm catching up with you. So, how are you taking care of your body, mind, and soul? And in what ways do you connect with yourself? Do you journal? Do you meditate? Do you pay attention to your dreams? Which is, for me, dream work is such the key to transformational soul work. Every night, whether you believe you're dreaming or not, most people just aren't remembering them because you're too busy or you haven't courted the muse to listen, pay attention. So every night you get these gifts of dreams, which is your soul, your psyche, showing you what's going on in your human experience that maybe needs your attention. Sometimes they're prophetic, giving you some guidance for the future. Mostly it's for me, dream work is about recognizing what's going on in your external world, processing it through your inner world, your subconscious mind, putting together a story so you can assess, how am I feeling? What am I believing? What's going on that needs my attention? So I do encourage you to pay attention to your dreams. Okay, so this full moon, an eclipse, a partial lunar eclipse happening in Taurus. It's Scorpio season. If you haven't watched my last video on Scorpio season, I'd encourage you to watch that. And I really want to encourage you to watch the video I did about why change can be so hard. Because during eclipse seasons, it's all about change. The eclipses are harbingers of change. It's like, here's how I think about it. It's like what your soul is desiring or what you're here to do in terms of a mission, a soul call, your contribution. If you are out of alignment with that, this eclipse or eclipses will come and kind of work you to get you where you need to be. Also, another image I have earlier was coming is like, since it's Scorpio season, the sun is in Scorpio, moon is in Taurus, in opposition at 5 degrees, which is what a full moon is, sun and moon in opposition. The lunar eclipse is that the earth is in between, and it's going to cast a shadow on the moon. So it's a time for shadow work. We're curious about what have we not been paying attention to, what's been eclipsed, what's been hidden. Scorpio wants to bring everything to the surface, to be seen, to be healed. So it's kind of a gross image that came, but kind of like a boil or, something that's coming to the surface that needs to be released, seen. So full moons, we do, just a full moon in general is a time, it's a culmination point where things come to the surface. Things are illuminated. There's more of an intensity. We feel more. The moon is connected to emotions in our subconscious mind and our intuition. And so full moons tend to draw forth, reveal what needs to be healed. But with an eclipse, it's a little bit more intense. It's like the universe, God, creator, however you connect, really wants you to see what you're missing, really wants you to get it. So you can course correct so that you can be brought to those possibilities. It's a rebirthing process. If you keep doing things the old way, you're going to keep getting the same experience, right? And if your soul is desiring something else, we go through this process. Talk to any mama who's birthed a child. It's uncomfortable, it's messy, and there's mystery. You don't know how the baby's going to come in. You don't know what the baby's going to look like. You don't know anything, right? About the mystery of it. it is the same with eclipse seasons. We're birthing in something new along the axis of Scorpio and Taurus. I'll talk more about that in a moment. And there's a mystery involved. What is this eclipse going to bring you closer to? What do you still need? What work do you still need to do to make this birthing process as easy as possible? You know, are you practicing your deep breaths? Are you practicing your visualization? This is, by the way, an important time to visualize, to create a vision board. I'm always, talking about that. But when there's mystery and you need to cultivate trust, but you want to also connect to your soul wisdom, what might the future that's calling me look like, and what's in the way of that, right? Okay, so I feel a little off in my presentation today. It's just eclipse season for me. I have been doing my own visioning, my own reviewing, reflecting, and that's what full moons can do too. That it calls up what and it illuminates areas we need to look at, especially with Scorpio. And also, well, I'll get to that in a moment. It's just a lot about looking at the shadows, the things we haven't looked at. So Scorpio season is transformational in itself, but this eclipse is like the midwife helping us to push through those stuck places, the old patterns. And this is the last eclipse with the north node. I can't talk either. Oh, okay. Grace, peace and grace. The north node in Taurus and south node in Scorpio, which has been, this is the last one. So it's been about 18 months with these nodes, right? So we've been working with them, and now the nodes are now in, the north node is in Aries and the south node is in Libra. So we're shifting out of this, but this is the last opportunity to get the lessons that these nodal points brought to us. So Taurus, they're both fixed signs. Sorry, I'm moving my camera a little bit too much, but they're both fixed signs. You know what the truth is? I wish I could relax as much as I do when I'm just sitting with a client. That's sometimes I can get into this flow with you all talking to my camera, and mostly I'm just having this, meta conversation about, who are you talking to, Victoria? So this is where comments help me, that I know you're out there and I am reaching someone. In fact, I'm going to visualize a couple of you out there that speak to me and connect with me regularly. Okay, that's better. Okay, so the Scorpio Taurus axis is all about what we value, it's self-worth, it's connected to what we invest in, it's connected to our resources. Taurus is a very earthy, grounded, all about security. This is where the moon is. So we have an emotional need for security with this full moon eclipse, and we're looking at that. How is our financial security? How are we set up in our home, in our world, in our day-to-day life? And Scorpio sun is looking at all the nooks and crannies that you've missed or you haven't looked at, all the shadowy places, right? So, and with this access to and oppositions, it's about balancing the two, right? So where are you out of balance with how you're valuing yourself and your resources? Like, are you giving too much to others, or they're not giving enough to you, and you're carrying the burden of financial stuff, or you're not looking at your financial stuff with this eclipse? I'm having trouble getting to my notes. Maybe I'm supposed to freestyle, okay. I'm not going to start over. Hang in here with me, guys. My screen keeps blanking out, which is interesting. Okay, let me say this, because this is the last one of this nodal axis, which has been, we can look back to the last 19 years when they were in the same north node in Taurus and south node in Scorpio, or 9 years ago when they were reversed, and ask yourself what was going on then. And then we could also look at all of the times the moon was, this is really, I don't know what's happening. Sorry, stay with me. it's so weird. I don't know what's going on with my computer, and I really didn't look at this chart very much, but I'm going to keep going because that is what I do. I just and this is life, and this is what I like to teach. Life isn't perfect. Life isn't we aren't perfect. We show up as we are. We offer what we can, and when there's wobbly times, you just center and ground and keep going. That's what I'm modeling to you in this moment, I hope. So, in fact, eclipse season can feel wobbly, it can feel disorienting. This is why they require a lot of trust and a lot of surrender. So, looking at this access, and again, wherever you have this access in your chart, what house is ruled by Scorpio, and then the opposite will be Taurus. And so this full moon will be happening in 5 degrees of Taurus, wherever that is in your chart. That's the house that's going to be lit up for you. And that is what's going to be more specific to you. What topics, what themes, what patterns, what you're called to look at in that particular house. Okay, I'm still offering the 20-minute consultations if you want to specifically look at where this is going to be impacting you. Do go under description and look at my website and click on request a consultation, or email me at thesoulnurturer@gmail.com. That is where you can reach me directly. Okay, so let me just talk in general about the other things going on, the other aspects happening. We have Mars also. Let me go to the chart. I am very, very, very tempted for the first time to restart because I feel very scattered. So let me just come into this as I look at the chart. Okay, so in addition to the sun being opposite the moon, the sun is conjunct Mercury and Mars, all in Scorpio, and kind of it's not a close conjunction, but connected to Ceres. This is a dwarf planet, and I'm going to maybe factor her in there. She's an asteroid goddess, is how we think about Ceres. Persephone's mother, connected to agriculture and harvest and nurturing. But she's also, connected, since I'll just go with what's coming, she's also connected to grief and grieving how life was for her. Her daughter gets, depending on the mythology, kidnapped, taken into the underworld by Pluto. And so she's grieving and she's missing her daughter. So there she is, connected to Mercury, Mars, and the sun on this eclipse. Sun, our vitality, our identity. Mercury, our communication, the messages that come through us to be shared. And Mars, how we take action and what we take action on. So just that in itself, right there, the story there, I feel all in Scorpio, all for transformation. That maybe this is a time for grieving. Okay, grieving how you thought life would be for you, that it is not. Grieving any trauma from your past. Grieving any abandonment, anything that you felt like you lost a part of your innocence. And coming back to the nurturing energy, nurturing what is still possible, negotiating. I think about Ceres as negotiating because the mythology is that there was sort of a negotiation with Pluto, like you could have her for half of the year and then I get her for the other half. So negotiating with your loved ones or at work or whatever, wherever there's an imbalance of how much you're giving, how much you're putting out energetically, all the resources, how you're resourcing for others and not enough for yourself. And so there's some grief work here. And then there's some action here. And with Mercury conjuncting the sun, some new story, some way of thinking, creating a transformational plan forward. So now this is all opposite the moon, and the moon is conjunct Jupiter. So for me, that feels like Moon in Taurus conjunct Jupiter in Taurus. Moon is emotions. This is already going to be an emotional, possibly. I don't like to project on to you what it's going to be like. That's for you to decide. I'll just say possibility of more emotions. I know myself during eclipse season, I have been feeling very emotional, weeping. I cry easily, but it seems a lot more, a lot more tears. Remember, my friends, tears are cleansing and clearing, right? So welcome them. But Moon conjunct Jupiter. Jupiter expands everything it's connected to. And since Moon in Taurus and Jupiter in Taurus, Taurus is Earth, it's connected to fertility and, growing new things and foundation and security and all things Earth. So I feel like this is a question and expanding a look emotionally. Are you emotionally content in the way you're living, in your home, in your family setup, in your relationships? Are you emotionally fulfilled? Are you being met? Are you, do you have the stability and security you desire? I would say it's about security and stability. Now, this opposition is rocking, where there is some instability, so that you can make a choice of what you need to release. Remember, full moons, we release what's in the way of the soul potential. And so where is some instability, and what does the security you're seeking look like in all areas of your life? Okay. So there's something there. Let me just go back to the other aspects and tell you when. Let's see what else. So Mars opposite Jupiter. Yeah. Okay. Mercury conjunct Mars, and all this in Scorpio. I would say, in Scorpio, this is a time when you may be getting triggered. Like, remember, when we're triggered, it's really about us, not the other person. It's what's in your underworld that you haven't looked at, your subconscious mind, your shadow. When you're triggered, that is God's way of saying, I'm going to show you a wound. I'm going to show you someplace that needs healing. But remember, it's important to pause, take personal responsibility. I know it's easy to blame everybody else, but just to say, be curious. What is this about for me? And pause. And before you, because I think of Scorpio with that stinger, before you go sting somebody with your words, write out what you want to say, like just get it out, and then burn that or shred that, the letter that you do not send, but you got to get it out. And then ground yourself in the beautiful Taurus moon energy. Ground yourself. Put your feet on the earth. Put your hand over your heart. Close your eyes and imagine being held in the way you need to be held. Then have the conversation. But I would encourage you to really, what's that Socrates acronym? I don't know if it's truly from Socrates, but it's the THINK acronym. Pause and ask, is it thoughtful? Is it helpful? Is it important? Is it necessary? And the key one, is it kind? Because angry lip monster Scorpio stinger can come out. And I'll tell you, if you know any Scorpios or moon in Scorpio or Scorpio risings, when they're threatened or they feel vulnerable or they're angry, they can sting right in the deepest wound of you. Like they know where to get you, right? And I've been stung by a few Scorpio moons, I'll just say that. So, okay, we've got moon is entering Taurus. I love this at 4:44 a.m. Pacific time on the 28th. So for those of you who love these sacred numbers, that gives just a little hint of the sacredness of this full moon, this eclipse. Let's see, I already talked about moon. So I feel like too, this is like you're remembering back to the last time we would have had this energy, November 2021. What was going on for you around that time? What were you dealing with? What were the patterns on repeat? So this is a culminating moon, especially because it's the last eclipse with this North Node in Taurus and South Node in Scorpio for about 19 years. So really big culmination point. It's a good time to review. Maybe if you journal, go back to the journal around that time, or go on your Facebook memories, or look at emails you sent around that time, or if you keep text messages that late. What was your story going on? What were you dealing with? What were you struggling with? Remember, struggle isn't a bad thing. It's a way of your psyche trying to work out where you are to where you're meant to be. I like to reframe struggle, instead of saying I'm struggling, that I'm in the middle of a huge learning opportunity, or I'm going through a birthquake. Okay. So you might want to look back. And also, I was doing this with a couple clients this week. Pause and reflect how far you've come with your transformational journey. We tend to focus on still where we're not where we want to be, and what more we need to do, and what's still not working. But I promise you, if you pause and look at where you have transformed, where you have shifted, where you're no longer the person you were and you're emerging more of your potential, it's really powerful. Where was I? Oh yeah. On Sunday, I had an eclipse event, an unexpected sudden change. That was an accident. I was safe. It was fine. It was my doing. And it was very symbolic to me. I was in my car. I was in a hurry. I did not follow my intuition. This is really key too. This is a time for you to pay attention to your intuition, your instincts, honor and trust them. Take action on behalf of them. Do not override them. When we override our intuition, our instincts, that's where, like I always say, if you don't work with the astrology, you get worked by it. If you're not honoring your intuition, you're going to get maybe a slap back. And I did. So I was parking my car at my in-laws' house, and I noticed my father-in-law's camper was there behind me. And when I got out of the car, it was parked a little wonky. So I was like, oh, I'll just fix that. I glanced in the rearview mirror as I'm backing up. In a blind spot or shadow was the hitch to the camper. Didn't even see it. And instead of really pausing, slowing down, assessing, I just reversed, boom, and my back window shattered. And I was shattered. I was under a lot of pressure last week, and so I didn't even want to go to the family gathering, and I had a little mini breakdown. Or breakdown and breakthrough, right? And I didn't listen to my intuition. When I was parking, I was like, no, why don't you park in the front? No, I'm just hurriedly parked there, crashed my back window. So I was upset in the moment, and then I let it go. And then I just found this deep place of calm and trust, which I invite you into. If you can find this centered, peaceful, calm, and trust that no matter what is storming around you, no matter what event is happening, and you can be in your fear, your wound, like I was a little bit instantly, like, why did this happen? Calm yourself, put your hand over your heart, and maybe you want to say something like, I trust that all is unfolding for me. I trust that I'm moving and growing through this event. I trust that I'll be shown the way. I trust that there will be a blessing at the end of this. And for me, there was a huge blessing that I won't go into all of it, but there was a blessing that came out of this. And symbolically, I looked at it in many ways. Like I was under so much pressure, and that pressure was shattered. And I claimed it because I was looking backwards, moving backwards when I want to move forward. And what I needed to do was just move forward and park my car around the corner, right? There's so much symbology here for me. But no, I was going to go backwards. And I went backwards with such a force that it shattered. So I'm claiming that event as shattering all the things from my past that I don't like this phrase, that no longer serve me, because here's the thing, they never served us, right? But so shattered the things that were holding me back, keeping me from freely turning a corner. Okay, that's how I'm going to analyze that. So I want to invite you to just be with yourself, journal, notice, track. I call it soul tracking. What have you been feeling? What have you been believing? What patterns on repeat? How are you doing with your resources? Is there an imbalance? Um, I was working with a client earlier, and I think this is a collective thing that came through. Um, what are you investing in terms of your time, your energy, your people that you're not getting a good return on, And how can you invest more in yourself to build your self-worth, to be able to be aligned with what you value so that you're being rebirthed to the possibilities connected to what you value, connected and aligned and mirroring your self-worth. The other thing that came through this morning in my meditation, and I'll just leave you with this, is you need to create the space inside of you that you want to invite people to. Instead of the Scorpio energy can feel like trying to control, manipulate, and that doesn't work. Rather, you want to hold a space of invitation. So what do you want to call into your life? What kind of people, what kind of partner to create that inner experience? Like, for instance, if you're feeling not cherished or valued in your partnerships, you hold the belief that I am so worthy of being loved and cherished, that you radiate that you embody that and you send that message out, right? And then you call people to meet you there. You sort of energetically teach them how to be with you, how to treat you. Okay. So hopefully, I don't know, I feel like I just rambled on a little bit. I needed to do this video today because I have no time tomorrow, and I didn't want to do it on the day of the full moon. I may come back on the 28th though with a meditation. I think we all need a meditation right now. So let me know if you have any questions about this eclipse. It's still a time of discerning, Venus in Virgo. It's just a lot of like rebalancing, taking a closer look from your deepest soul desires to what's really going on, to how do you land in the space of your own heart, your own home in your heart, to create a world that feels grounded from you, starting with you, from your body, how you're taking care of your body, the vessel for your soul, how you're taking care of your home, and how that ripples out to the world. And remember how we tend and take care of our own inner worlds. That is what we're contributing out to the world that we share. I'll take one last glance. Anything else striking me here? I think we got it. I do think that Scorpio season, they say that it's the thinning of the veil, especially as we get to Halloween or Samhain, the thinning of the veil, which, by the way, for those of you who get woken up in the middle of the night between 3 and 5 in the morning, there is a term for that. It's called the ambrosial hours, and this is where the thinning of the veil, where we're more connected to spirit world, and maybe you're being woken up to be called back more to your soul essence, to be woken up to get some wisdom, some guidance to help you get unstuck, to break free to your possibilities. So pay attention during those times when you wake up. Just ask, what am I meant to know? What's the communication? What soul guidance is there for you? Okay. But also the thinning of the veil in my mind as a hypnotherapist is the thinning of the veil between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Especially during Scorpio season, we can feel more of our unfinished subconscious stuff. We can become more aware of our shadowy areas. We can become more aware of trauma or unhealed places. So again, I encourage you to be super gentle with yourselves. Journal. I would suggest this journaling style. Journal all that concerns you. And then close your eyes, say a prayer, however you connect to your creator. And then imagine Creator is writing back to you, offering you some advice, offering you some support to navigate the transformational times that you're in, and light a candle whenever needed, and then surrender all and blow it out. Okay, thanks for being with me. I felt a little whoo at the beginning, but you know what? It's all good as long as something came through that helped you, and I hope something did. Let me know what that is. Comment with that or send me an email. And truly, I'm just here to send you some love, to let you know it's going to be okay. That was the message that came to me when I had the shattered back window, just immediately. This is going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And it gave me a moment to review how far I'd come from, say, 10 years ago when I was a lot more fear bound when it came to money, or events. I just surrendered it to God and then took the action steps that I needed to do to get the car fixed. And then I opened up for the blessings. So may this eclipse bring you to what you need to see to say, okay, I got that. I can deal with that. I can take responsibility for that. I can do something differently with that. And then take your action, write out the action plan, write out the vision plan, surrender, and then open to receive your blessings. And may you be blessed beyond your greatest need. All right, thanks for being with me. Sending you love, and I'll see you, I guess, in a week. It's going to be my birthday next week, and maybe I'll do a special video then. Okay, take good care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.